Hey, welcome back, lovely people. We're here with the Technomancer again. In the last episode, we battled it out in the arena, and we worked on a side quest for finding out what happened to this woman's boyfriend, who was a fighter, who's disappeared. We now have a lead. We have some Vori people that apparently were seen doing things to our, what's his name, Derek? And we are going to go pursue that lead real quick, which is actually just right over here. But before I go too much further, I realized that we actually have both a stat point and a talent point. So, we are going to put our talent point, we're going to put 1 point in traps and lockpicking. So what this is going to do is this is going to actually let our traps do more damage. So whenever we have to use them, great. It's going to explode even harder. And it's going to let us start getting at those level 2 chests. We won't be able to get level 3 chests just yet. That'll come later. But don't worry, because it doesn't... Like I've said, most of the time the things in these chests are just crafting components. Like, it doesn't matter until later. And by then we'll have the full 3 ranks. So for now, the 2 is sufficient. And then for our attributes, we are going to put 1 point into power. Now, we've got 2 attribute points. Okay, in that case, we're going to put 2 into power. Awesome. Okay, so what power does is it increases our energy regeneration, which is the fluid. It gives us more damage every time we attack, and it lets us equip higher ranked gloves and armor. So, for the build that I'm using right now, we could, our power stat is like at minimum we need it at 2, and now we've got it at 2, so we're going to put some more points into agility. But if we get enough points to get our agility where it needs to be, we can put our extra points into there, which will help us out. It'll just make our electric attacks do more raw damage, give us more fluid regeneration. Anyway, these are the Vori we're looking
You're
for.
the guy who paid to kill Derek Labor, the guy who won his last fight in the arena a few days ago.
Fuck you! Who the hell you think you are coming in here like this, prick? How about we teach you a lesson in manners? How about that, boys?
Whoops. Uh-oh. I'm gonna take a... Give me a sec, hold on. I just need to take a health regeneration. There we go. The funny thing is that even with this increased regeneration, it's hard to find the opportunities to use the lightning bolt. There we go.
Stop, damn it, stop! We're the ones who shot Derek.
And who sent you to do it?
Shit, it was that fucking guard who watches over the fights. He wanted Derek gone. I don't know why, so don't ask. I just took what he paid, and I did what he asked, alright?
Yeah, alright. An honest killer. What'll they think of next? Later.
Now, I believe if we just pick a leave, we'll just walk away. Because we knocked out the one guy that was the brains of the group, that's all we needed to end the confrontation. But if we kill off the assassins, we'll continue the fight and knock out the rest of them. I don't think we actually kill them, we could just leave them on the ground, but, you know, like, more loot, less problems. Ouch. Go. Now, if we wanted to kill them, of course we could. But why turn down the chance for some additional loot? And the answer is, you don't, because loot is good. Loot is life. Now, from here, we're going to go back to the bar and see what we can find. So I'll meet you back there. Alright, we're back at the bar, and here we are to confront the person that we believe has paid for the murder of this Derek. which is ironic because this was the very first person that we talked to that set us on the lead in the first place.
I have 2 witnesses telling me you're behind Derek Labor's death. Why'd you do it?
Why did I do it? You know how much that little bitch cost me in serum? Thomas little ass was supposed to go down in the last fight. But no, he decided he needed to follow the rules. Being a pathetic laborer who started winning fights swelled his head. A little arrogance goes a long way in the arena. You get hurt outside of it, though, he was supposed to lose. He didn't. That hurt me really bad. So, I made an example of him to other fighters who think they can think for themselves, too.
You're under arrest for the murder of Derek Labor.
Yeah, sure. You and what army officer? Get out here.
As long as Scott's keeping that big guy busy. Let's just gun her down. Well, that'll work. But before we arrest him, let's take their stuff. Soldier Steel Boots. That's an upgrade, but it requires 1 strength. But maybe we can give that to Scott at some point. Now let's go let the very first person that put us on this quest, his fiancée, let her know the fate of her very dead boyfriend.
Miss, there's no easy way to say this, but I found your fiancé's body. The Vori killed him over some rigged bets.
No. No! No! Derek!
I arrested the man responsible. He's in jail now. And that doesn't bring Derek back, but at least the guy who did it will pay.
Thank you, officer. Thank you.
Okay. So we tied that up. We didn't really get that much serum for it, but we're not doing it for the serum. We're doing it for justice and for the experience. Let me check to see if Derek can put on those boots. Not Derek. Derek is dead. Yes, he can. Alright. So, for the build that we're using, I don't think we're ever going to be putting points into strength. Which is going to limit our access to armor, but in the long run, it should work out. Now, let me see what we have available to us. I think at this point, we have done all of the little side quests that we can do in the slums. So, I am going to go up to the exchange and talk to that merchant that we saved earlier. I'll meet you when I get there. I'll see you in a bit. Alright, we are back here to talk to this guy that we saved, I believe is Fiorello, and let's see what he has to say after we rescued him.
Hello, Fiorello.
Ah, our savior is here. It's wonderful to see you again.
You seem a bit preoccupied. Things not going well?
No, it has. Everything has gone very well because of your efforts. Let's just say that my leave of absence didn't help my business. Don't think I'm not grateful, friend. I appreciate the thought. What can I do for you?
Let's see if we can ask him about some possible quests.
Who's the girl? She doesn't exactly look like a merchant.
It is a good question. I found her tied up in the warehouse that we were dumped in. The poor thing cannot even remember her own name. Figure she must have family or friends around here, though, so I keep her with me, hoping someone might recognize her. Just banking on luck, though. Maybe as an officer, you might be able to check and see if someone has reported her missing. I'm sure her family would be grateful, as I would.
I'll see what I can do.
Thank you, Officer Mancer. You are a man of endless generosity.
Listen, maybe I can help. What's going on?
You are too kind. I am so deeply indebted to you. Anyway, yes, I am a little worried. More than a little, to be truthful. Two of my regular clients, after the kidnapping, must have assumed the worst and just left. Haven't heard from them. No one but you, I admit, cared enough to come to look for me. That said, their merchandise is here, but I have no way of telling them I am back without the risk of exposing myself. I don't mean to treat you like my errand boy. I only ask because you offered your help. Anyway, if you could let them know, I could compensate you as well. One of them, I'm sure you know. The Barracks quartermaster. The other one is a slums merchant.
You know where the merchant's at?
Of course, of course. If you have a map, I could show you. Bless you, Mancer. 1,000 times over. Bless you for all you've done for me.
Okay, so we don't want him to be flashing anybody, so it's actually better off that we go and take care of this for ourselves. And the experience is always nice. Now, we can talk to him about more about him, more about where he comes from, more about the missions, but I don't really care about any of that. For his merchandise, he doesn't really offer anything that he actually does offer some pretty good stuff. So the very first thing that we're going to buy is the I'm looking for it here. It is the trader's jacket. And what this is going to do is it's going to give us a point in charisma. And that single point in charisma is going to actually make all of the merchants make the prices cheaper. Very important. It doesn't mean we're going to sell for anymore, but it does mean we're going to save a little bit of money. And it's going to come in handy whenever we need to use charisma to persuade people to do things. So I'm going to put that on. Now, as you can tell, I haven't sold anything yet, so we've accumulated quite a lot of surplus goods that we've looted from all the people we've beaten the crap out of. And you have two choices when it comes to these things. You can either recycle them at a workshop, or you
Look
can...
at you.
Oh.
Glad to see you. Can't tell you how much your help was. It is appreciated. Other things might have worked themselves out in time, but who has time these days? And you sure saved me the hassle. You're a Technomancer?
I am. Zachariah Mancer.
I'm lucky, in name and in life. You Mancers all stick together. Know each other real well, don't you?
Know each other, maybe, but we're scattered between here and the front.
Right, right. The front. Of course, the front. So, I take it you know where I can find I believe his name is Master Connor?
He's still in town, away from the front, training recruits.
Lucky again. Just what I wanted to hear. Think you might be up to do me a favor?
Either way, I'm here. Tell me what you need.
Simple. To meet Master Connor and relay some information. With your help, of course. Without your help, well, being just a simple merchant, unwelcome outside the exchange, I suppose it'd be a bit harder. If not, impossible. You know as well as I do, a common merchant can't just stroll up to the likes of a master. So, you get me in front of him, and I'll owe you one. How about that?
I'll see what I can do.
And I'll be much obliged.
Anyway, so we can either just recycle the goods, but to be honest with you, you're better off just buying what you need directly from the merchants that sell the components rather than recycling your items, unless your item is going to have a rare component that you can't get. And none of the things that we have those rare components. So we're just going to sell off all the extra stuff that we've accumulated.
Hey there, Fiorello.
So let's see. We don't need that. Don't need that. In fact, I'm pretty much going to sell off everything at this point that's not equipped to us. We're going to hold on to the stuff that gives us a bonus on skill checks. This is the club. These are the clubs that we actually looted way back in the dome. And then these are all the guns that we found. Oh, I'm going to hold on to one gun, though. This slow disruptor. So your companions level up as you level up. So it's important to take them out on excursions, especially the ones that you want to keep with you. And because we've been training with Scott, his agility has actually gone up to the point where we can give him a better gun. So we're going to give him the disruptor gun. Because of the high disruption, basically every time he gets a shot off, it's probably going to send the guy that he shoots recoiling. Which is going to just make him a little bit more useful than what he is right now. Although he's still not going to be much more than a kind of self-healing punching dummy. Now, we want to hold on to one of these Rory jackets, but we can sell the other one. And we can sell all the other Rory jackets. We're going to hold on to the doctor's coat because it's going to give us a bonus to science. We're going to hold on to the full worker's jacket because it's going to give us a bonus to crafting. We can sell off the other crafting goods. And we're going to hold on to the cadet's jacket in case we ever need the fluid regeneration. I don't think we will, but I just want to be safe. And then we're going to hold on, for the same reason, we're going to hold on to one pair of the Technomancer's boots, but we're going to sell off all the other worker shoes. And that should give us a huge amount of extra serum that we can use to buy stuff, which is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to invest in a few upgrades here. So, if you go to recipes, you can buy all of the standard upgrades for... You need these in order to craft at the next level. So this is like crafting at level 2. And we're just going to buy all of them. Because for the most part, we're going to have a... When we get more companions, we'll want to make sure to invest in their gear as well. And we're going to be rolling in the money eventually. So it's not like we're ever going to have trouble affording stuff. So we might as well just buy them now, even if we don't end up using them. Now, for this part... He doesn't have access to any armor that's better than what we have with the full Void jacket. But what he does have are these pilot goggles, which actually give us a little bit of an upgrade to the ones that we have on our head right now, and let us maintain our bonus to exploration. So we're going to switch over to those, and then we'll just give the protective goggles to Scott. That 1% isn't going to be a huge difference, but it's better than nothing. So now... that we've invested and we've sold, we are going to don our crafting. Well, actually, we don't need to. It's the higher level stuff that requires crafting, so we don't have to worry about putting on our jacket yet. But what we are going to do is we are going to go through the secret little door here, and we're going to open up a couple of these chests in this back alley. Because now that we can pick at level 2, we should have access to most stuff. Not all of it, but most of it. But like I said, at this point, most of the stuff is just going to be trash.
Locked from the other side.
Or I guess we're not
going around.
I guess we're not going to get those treasure chests. That's okay. If I stop and get them at some other point, I'll be sure to pop them open. But for now, this is probably the only important stuff. And I don't even think that the stuff in here is that important. This light abundance is actually... I believe it's better than the Void jacket. No, it's the same. Let me check and see. It gives a higher resistance to disruption, but less resistance. So we'll actually we'll give the light abundance uniform to Scott. Because that resistance to disruption, that way when he gets hit, and if he's doing something, hopefully he won't get interrupted. That's what that means. Now, the idea is that you never want to get hit in the first place, so disruption isn't that great. But later on, you're going to unlock some skills that you just sit in place and channel them. So you need that resistance to disruption to avoid getting knocked out of it whenever you're doing that. We don't have that yet, but we will eventually. And then when we do, we may decide to invest in some armor that will give us that disruption resistance, so that way we can get the full ability off. Although, to be honest, if we ever get hit more than a few times while we're doing that, we're going to probably die anyway. So... It's kind of a moot point. It's good for NPCs though, because their attacks are a lot less predictable, and so sometimes they can choose to make strange attacks in weird places. So we want to make sure that if they do decide to commit to attacking, that they can get the full attack off and not just get endlessly stun moved over and over and over and just get beaten into a pulp. So now that we've done that, we're going to go over to this workbench here, and we're going to invest in some upgrades to our equipment.
As if it were only war. You can bet that not a single fish is missing.
Now, to be honest with you, in the early game, upgrades don't really do that much, but later on, the upgrade system is incredibly important to getting like incredibly powerful equipment. Like, you cannot neglect it. So, let's see. For this first part, we are going to... Yeah, see, we only have access to level 1 stuff, and we don't have a lot of equipment either, which is going to limit our abilities. So for this, to fix this, what we're going to do is we're going to go over to this guy who sells the components, and we're just going to buy a lot of equipment. well, first we're going to make sure we're wearing our charisma gear to get that full benefit. So here we go, trader's jacket. We're going to sell off some of the stuff that we just picked up from that shack. And we're going to buy some trading materials, no, not trading, some crafting materials en masse. So let's sell off this gun. Let's sell off one of the jackets. Keep the full. We only need one. We'll keep the doctor's jacket. We'll sell off the civil servants. That's a different bonus that we don't really need. And now, we actually, because of the things that we were looting before, we have a lot of extra leather in our inventory. So let's sell a little bit of that. So that way we have a little bit more spending cash and a little bit less inventory that we have to worry about. Because we can only carry 250 pounds, so every little point counts.
Hello.
Hello?
So now for our components, let's see. Let's see what we have and see what we don't have. So what we're missing is electrical debris, piece of metal, leather, and good quality metal. So let's see if he offers any of those. He's got leather. Does he have piece of metal? He does not. So we'll buy some leather from him. And we'll buy a few. Do we want the metal components? Now we got plenty of those. So he doesn't actually sell the stuff that we need, which is unfortunate because it's going to limit what we can do with crafting. But it doesn't make the biggest difference. Eventually we'll come across a merchant that can just sell us stuff that we need. So pretty much what we have here is what we're going to get access to, period. Which, that's totally fine. Okay, so for the stagger, we are going to go for... Let's go for the critical hit upgrade. And as you can see, we automatically recycled the component that was already in there. So you don't lose everything that you have access to. Like if you recycle it, you'll get it back. Now he's already got the level 2 disruption upgrade, and we can't go any higher than level 2. And even if we wanted to, we actually need electric parts, which is another thing that we don't have access to. So we're just going to leave that in there. It's not going to get any better than that. For our Vori jacket, let's see. We don't have access to good quality metal or good leather. And honestly, it's not worth investing in the electricity resistance. So we will just leave that alone. For the armor, same deal. We can put a little bit in physical resistance. Actually, that'll make a big difference. That'll take us to 13. So we'll do that, and then just to change our appearance and make us look cool, we'll put something in. We will put the points in disruption, just in case. I mean, like, we got to put something there, even though that's definitely not the best thing that we could get for. And then we'll put in some physical resistance on our workers' pants, and those are all the upgrades that we can do. So all in all, we didn't do big improvements, but we're a little better than we were before, and we look a little cooler. I really like that scrap look that we've got going on right now. So from here, we need to go back to the merchant that we talked to and ask him about the girl who lost her memory, because he might have some clues. We can't actually talk to her for some reason, but that doesn't matter. So tell us what you know about the girl.
Where'd you find the girl?
We were actually thrown together. When they brought us to that wretched hellhole warehouse, there she was, tied up, unconscious, tortured, through and through. Whatever she did to get that sort of treatment couldn't have been as bad as all that. So when you arrived to free us, I, in turn, freed her. I always tried to pay a good deed forward. She would have died had I left her behind. Since then, I've asked around the exchange, but nobody seems to know her any more than she knows herself. Perhaps she comes from the slums, somehow betrayed the Vori, stole from them, who knows? But whatever it was, the punishment was brutal. But maybe, as you go around the city, maybe you'll find a way to bring her name back to her.
Alright. So he just referenced a movie that I don't think he's seen, but that doesn't matter. What's this exclamation point over here? Alright, so all that stuff, that's in the barracks. So what we should do next is we should go back to the chapel and report our successes, as well as tell that Master Connor guy about the merchant, Lucky, that wants to see him. So I will meet you guys when I'm in the chapel.
Damn it. Master Connor isn't in the chapel. The Great Master will know where he is.
Alright, well, let's see what he does have to say about Master Connor, and we can tell him about the success we had earlier, turning in that merchant.
Zachariah, a pleasure as always. What may I do for you?
I'm looking for Master Connor. Any idea where I can find him?
He headed down to the underworks. Needed to get some supplies from our warehouses. If you're going there, take the elevator near the barracks. Opens up close to the warehouses and will save you some time. It's a real maze down there.
Thanks for the tip. I wanted to talk to you about something.
What about?
We're looking for a scientist who disappeared. Name's Charles Seeker. All I found is some of his research. Seems he was studying Technomancers before getting arrested and sent to a camp.
Charles Seeker. Yes, the geneticist. Geneticists pose a risk. Scientific discoveries are always threatening to expose our secrets. Your friend Scott even worked on the same research years ago. Never found out what Scott did or didn't discover, though. He ended up drinking himself into irrelevance. So I stopped worrying. Whatever research you found, make sure no one sees it. Could be our downfall.
The funny thing is Scott's right back there just staring at us.
I finally managed to meet the merchants you told me about. It wasn't easy. The mob kidnapped them for serum. I freed them before talking to them.
I'm sure gratitude helped to loosen their lips. So what knowledge was gleaned from such lengths?
Word that Aurora is running large-scale excavations along the shadow paths near our territory, and in the process uncovering important objects, maybe even a relic.
Fascinating. Finds that are no doubt better off in our hands than those of Aurora's Technomancers. Keep those merchants close, Zachariah. Information like that is such a priceless commodity. You are no more free to roam than the rest of us. Of that I have no doubt. But if you find yourself with access to a rover and perhaps find a way to that excavation site and locate the relic, well, you cannot know the value it might hold if brought back to us. It may seem petty. It's a mission for some rusty relic that may or may not even exist. However, if you are able to slip away from Ophir...
Alright, so turning that in, it gave us another prompt that we cannot do immediately because we do not have access to a rover, but that might change in the future. However, we did find that he gave us some Technomancer pants, which, to be honest, are an upgrade over our normal worker pants in so many ways. It gives us fluid regeneration, and it has more default defense, so we're actually going to upgrade those in a moment. We also leveled up, which means we've got one more point to spend. So I am going to throw that point into magnetic armor, which does exactly what it seems to do. It increases our defenses against attack. It's going to make us more durable and make us able to last longer and fight harder without having to worry about just getting our faces crushed in. You can tell when it's active because you'll see a little bubble form around your character. And it's just like the electric attack. Whenever you put your weapon away, it disappears too. Whenever you draw it out, it forms up. Now, if you look at the bubble that the magnetic armor is taking up, it's surrounded by a gray haze behind it. That will deplete as we take attacks. So you'll know how many attacks are left on it depending on how full that gray bar is. You can always refresh it by casting it again. And that's why we needed that second charge, because without it, we have to dispel it and then wait for it to recharge and then open it up again. So, now that we have all those upgrades, we need to go see what else is going on in this place. So one thing we can do is we can actually go and we can go into our barracks, but not talk to our captain yet, who I'm sure is wondering where we are and why we haven't shown up yet, but that's okay, she can keep waiting. And before I forget, I'm actually going to give those worker pants that we upgraded to Scott. There's no reason not to just throw them away and let them go to waste. So there we go. Plus they look better on his outfit. So we're going to just walk over to the barracks. We're going to be very careful not to talk to the captain, and hopefully that won't trigger anything.
Lieutenant Zachariah Mancer. What a pleasure.
Hello, sir. I don't think I've had the honor of meeting you before.
Ah, of course. I am Colonel Victor Watcher of the ASC.
Colonel.
At ease, Lieutenant, at ease. Simply came to congratulate you and learn that you become a Technomancer of the highest degree. For a young man from the Rogue family, it's a terrific achievement.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Your road must have been difficult, but you persevered. An outsider who managed to work his way into the ranks of the elite Technomancers. A marvelous story, especially given their secrecy. They've always fascinated me. Do you have any insight as to why they chose to be so insular?
I'm sorry, Colonel, but I don't know what you mean.
What a shame. By coming to you out of friendship and camaraderie, I was hoping that you wouldn't treat me like an outsider, too. All right, then. Back to your duties. But think about what I asked, and we'll see each other again.
We'll be seeing more of him in the future. I promise you that. But anyway, let's head over to the barracks. And we can actually, there's an upgrade station that we can use that's right over there. And now, we're supposed to have talked to the captain and gotten our room, but we'll do that a little later. So we actually can, since our sleep bonus wore off, we can actually go back there and get a little bonus to our experience going. Very, very important. Now our quartermaster is right here. He's the guy that gives us payout whenever we complete missions that we'll be doing eventually, just not quite yet.
Lieutenant Zachariah Mancer? Your reputation precedes you. A promotion well deserved, I hear. I'm Quartermaster Ryan Stewart, in charge of logistics in this barracks. Equipment problems or improvement, or you need to collect your pay, I'm your man.
Pleasure, Quartermaster.
Whoops.
Hey, Ryan, Merchant just delivered this for you. Said he's got more merch you may be interested in, too.
Oh, good. Bastard finally showed up. Damn foreigners. Good thing they're better at making deals than they are at minding their clocks or calendars.
Slight racism, and you're going to see that coming from members of Abundance, and it's an important theme to keep in mind. Now the cool thing is, because we now have our locked pick at level 2, we can actually bust in and steal some of his stuff. I mean, yeah, we are like straight up stealing from him. We can't take that though because he's right there, but oh. There we go. So by looking at this, we actually found a clue that she is related to the Black Dahlia gang. So we just need to find some more cues about that. While we're here, let's bust open a couple of locks. And let's go to our bed and get a little bit of a rest bonus. And I think that'll be a great place to check out the episode and call it quits. Just getting some more side quests done, getting some preliminary work completed before we start working on the real stuff. And we actually achieved some pretty... We got some pretty good work done so far. I'm very satisfied with our progress. It's actually going a little faster than I thought it would. So, oh, and before I forget, it's telling me that we have an attribute point to spend. Now, like I said, 2 is the minimum amount, and then we're going to put the rest into agility. And the way how that's going to work is that even though we're not going to do as much damage with our spells because of our low power, every point that we put into agility increases our chance of critical. So a high agility combined with an item that we're going to get later is going to give us a very high chance of getting critical hits with our spells, which is how we're going to do lots of damage with our Technomancer abilities, while at the same time being agile and qualifying for all those agility benefits. So let's go ahead, take a nap. It's the day. We'll sleep till twilight, get that rest bonus, and we'll call it quits there. I am Twinklebutt. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day.